It is 4 days after Christmas, and just picked up the Work Sharp knife and tool sharpener. You can get a good look at it there. It's still in the box. I was just up at Shields, picked it up. Show you all the different attachments that it comes with. Gives you a brief outline of everything that comes in the box with it. Shows a bunch of neat stuff. And this graphic here is very good, and it shows how it creates a bit of a curved edge on the blade versus just a standard like stone or a grinder where you get, you know, the straight edges on this. This actually puts a bit of a convex edge on it right here. Very good, very strong, excellent way to keep a knife sharp. I've watched several reviews on this online. Looks like it'll do everything everybody says it's going to do. And my brother-in-law, my nephew-in-law, and my father all have one of these. So thought I would pick it up, give everybody a chance to see that. We'll move back. So now what we're going to do is we're going to, basically I'll take it out of the box. I will spare you the unboxing. And what I have here is an old hickory knife. You can see where I've ground it on my grinder. When it first came, it came as a blank. I mean, so literally the blade edge was almost as dull and squared off as the spine of the knife is. But you can see where I've torn it up, where I've put a decent, or tried to put a little bit of an edge on this thing. Let me see if I can find us a piece of paper. Stay with me. All right, found a piece of paper, just a piece of old newspaper I've got laying around in the shop. And just to give you an idea of how actually terrible the edge is on this blade, you can somewhat see that right here. There's a little bit of a grind going on right along the edge there. I'm trying to get it to where you can kind of maybe see where it's shiny right along the edge. But this is a piece of newspaper, and it won't cut. Heck, this thing won't even tear a piece of paper. That's how bad this knife is. So this is going to be the first one that we're going to run through on that new knife sharpener. So stay with me and let's see how it works. Okay guys, that's what it looks like when it's unboxed. Comes with the actual unit itself. Nice 6-foot power cord on it. It did come with 6 bands. The red ones are like 80 grit. I'm sorry, the red ones are 220 grit. The green bands in here, they're 220. And then these purple bands are like a polishing, and that's a 6,000 grit. So it looks like you can really do some pretty good work with this. The way we've got this one set up today, and with this terrible knife that I've got, those old hickory knives that I really want to put a good edge on, I think what we'll do is we'll go ahead and peel out this green one, which is 80 grit. And we're going to go ahead and put it on this particular unit. To do this, you simply depress this down, turn it a quarter turn, and the band just slips right off. So then to put the new one on, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to wrap it right around here like so. Get it tucked in good. Push that back down, release it, and that band should be on there and about ready to roll down the road. This has 2 switches that are down here. If you push the single dash, it stays on continuously. If you push the bottom one, the center position is off. Push the bottom one, it only stays on as long as you have it depressed. So that's kind of neat. This red knob here in the center, what that is tracking. So that if your blade or your band is not running right down the center, you can turn this on, you can adjust it, you can see where that blade or where that band moves back and forth there a little bit. So then we can just get it to go centered right along it. Now we know we're in pretty good shape. That means it'll spin around true when you put one of these covers or guides on it. This particular guide is for kitchen knives, and What it'll do is it'll do a 20-degree bevel on one side of the blade and 20-degree bevel on the other side. So you pull it through, you pull that knife through on either side so that you get that rounded convex edge on it. In this one, it's a 40-degree angle altogether, but I see a lot of people online seem to stumble over that. Basically, what it's giving you is a 40-degree angle on the blade overall, and that's 20 degrees on either side. This particular attachment is primarily for your kitchen knives, thin blades. You want a nice sharp edge. You want to slice through that fillet. You could use your fillet knife on this if you're a fisherman. Get it good and sharp. That way you can fillet a fish effortlessly. The other part on this is for basically outdoor and hunting knives. This little feed line right here, or guide rather, is 25 degrees on either side, which is a good angle for an outdoor blade, something that you're going to take camping, bushcrafting with. Anything that you're going to do outside and be, cutting wood and whittling and things like that. It's a little bit more robust of an angle, which is better than the thin bladed ones that you want to use in your kitchen for slicing meat and stuff. This is for all applications outdoors. On the side over here is a 65-degree angle, and that's designed to sharpen scissors, which I don't know about you guys, but I've got a few pairs of scissors laying around that are, well, I've been cussing at them and wanting to throw them across the room, so I'm going to go ahead and sharpen them up with this. These guides, and I'm going to unplug the machine. These guides fit readily right on the back side. You'll notice back here on the back that there's two posts, okay? And that would be holding it up so it's sitting vertically. And then the guides have that slide lock here. And simply what you do is just place that over, push it down, and it snaps into position. Once it snaps into position, you're good to go with that. Spin it back around, and it's just like it was sitting on the counter there. One other thing I'd like to show you guys, it came with the DVD. It's about 5 to 7 minutes long, kind of shows you everything there is to know about using this particular machine. It also came with a very nice pamphlet, the quick start guide type thing. A lot of good information in this as well. So if you watch the DVD and you still have questions, read this thing. It should answer the rest of them for you. It's kind of a two-parter. But it's thin, it's easy to read. It's got lots of pictures for those of you that struggle with that. And it does a really, really good job of explaining how to use the different settings. And in fact, on this one here, it's got a guide on this side over here designed for you to help sharpen serrated edges. Like bread knives and such. Really, this tool is all encompassing. The other thing I forgot to mention is there is a switch right here. Pull it back and this cassette rotates. And then it locks into position. So if I didn't have this guide on here, sitting on here like this, then it could become a grinder to set on the edge of an axe, a shovel. That's where they get the tool sharpener side of it from. If you pull it back, rotate it even further, all the way around, somewhere in here, the cassette itself will come off. That allows you to get access down in here where you can blow it out, clean it up, get everything ready to roll. I'll put it back together, guys, and then we'll start to sharpen and see what we come up with. All right, kids. First and foremost, always wear safety goggles. This thing does, in fact, throw off particulates of metal. The blade spins in a clockwise fashion as you're looking at it. So when the blade is in this groove, everything's moving down. All the particulate matter is coming down this side. But when you put it on this guide, everything's coming off and flying out on this side. So that's just something you want to be aware of. Always safety first, guys. So the other thing about this that I think we need to discuss quick is you'll notice that these little guides are right here. On these guides here, the biggest thing that you need to do is you need to keep the knife blade laid up against that so that it's flat. Hopefully you can see that. Because when you do that, then that's the guide portion, and that helps to create the edge that we're looking for on this. I will tell you in the interim that I did run that along the edge, and you can just start to see, oh, about 1/8 of an inch, maybe 2/16. Well, it'd be the same thing. Maybe just a touch more, but you can see where just 3 passes on either side have already put what appears to be a pretty decent little grind on there. I will say this much. The tips are a little bit different because of the way that it pulls through at the final part. You just have to pay attention. It looks like I'm going to have to practice to keep the point on there the way it should be. So let's go ahead. Now they say you put the knife in, you get it up against, so I'm twisting it out up against that thing. And they say to put the blade in, even with the end of the blade down here, and do this prior to turning on the machine. So we're going to set it in. Now we'll just fire it up and draw it through. 4 inches should take about 1 second. Go on the other side, do the same thing. Okay. Now that's about 6 pulls through the machine on either side. You can see the edge starting to form on that blade. It's doing the same thing on both sides. I'm hoping you guys can pick that up. Maybe if it's behind my jacket, you'll be able to see that edge a little bit better. And I tell you what, that's already a heck of a lot sharper than it was. I don't think she's ready to cut paper yet. Well, it's getting closer. Certainly not wanting to do that yet. But again, we just hit it with the 80 grit side. So I may pull that through a couple more times just to ensure that that edge is looking pretty darn good, actually. Let's try that again. Yeah. All right, now we're going to unplug. We'll depress this, rotate it clockwise. We're going to take that band off. We're going to put the 220 grit because the green one was 80 grit. That just slides right into those little channels, down underneath. Depress and rotate. Give it a quick squeeze. Oh, forgot, got to plug it back in. Safety first. When you do that, the band will automatically center on that. So let's take this and do it 5 times each. Okay. Again, you're starting to see that edge on that knife right there. Holy cow. That just made a huge, huge difference. Hoping you guys can see that on there. That's that thin little edge going on there. Holy cow. Let's just test it since I seem to have a bunch of newspaper laying around. Okay. Still wanting to just tear that paper. Not really wanting to cut it. Still tearing it. I can feel the burr on the edge just ever so slightly. But wow. You can see that. Maybe you can. It's already starting to peel up some fingernail when you do that. That's usually an indication of a pretty good one. So we'll take this, we'll unplug it, compress, release. Let's get one of these purple bands out. Boy, I tell you what, that is so smooth. That is just, it's a 6,000 grit, so it's doing it, it should do its thing. Back underneath, press, release. We'll plug it back in. Give it a couple of tugs. Looks like it centered it. Now it says to do this 10 times on each side. We'll put it in, we'll get it up against the back. Ah, a little bit of dry skin, but kids, that is shaving sharp right there. Wowzers, that didn't take much. Holy smokes. Boy, howdy. Man alive. Got some dry skin, but man, I just shaved the hair off the back of my knuckles. I gotta tell you what, kids. That's leather. And it is just slicing that so easily. Get this back where you can actually see that. This knife wouldn't cut butter previously. Holy cow. That's pretty impressive. Tell you what, for a knife that wouldn't cut butter before, I'd say we're about 95% of the way there. A little bit of dressing left on the edge. This thing retails for about $79. You can get it for like $69 on Amazon. I picked it up at Shields for $79. But overall, I'm pretty happy with the way that that's worked out. There's still a learning curve. I just unboxed it. This is my very first attempt at it. But so far, I'm real pleased with the results. I think you will be too. Anyway, email me, like the video, ask me questions, post your comments. Let's share. If you've got some other experience with that, please let me know. Again, this is my first shot at it. So hopefully, a few more knives and I'll have her down pat and they'll be razor sharp. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a great day.